It's your turn now. You gotta get ready to leave all you know behind, to know something new, to learn something more and greater, and leave your limitations behind. Only faith knows the way, only faith will show the way, revealing it all the time. So press and move on, push through beyond into new, leaving old hours here. Now I'm gone, forcing my tomorrow, while everything I loved I lost. Learn how to let it go, learn how to let it go, learn how to learn how to turn back. Find your way, yeah, find your way. Move forward and find the way. Move forward and find the way. Only I can get in the way. Only I can get in my way. So it's important that you learn yourself. The only teacher is truth itself. In the classroom of transition, the truth will teach you the art of revelation. Transparency heals you from your failures. Your past can leave you wounded. You can make it into your hours here. Now I'm gone, forcing my tomorrow, while everything I loved I lost. Learn how to let it go, learn how to let it go, learn how to learn how to turn back. Find your way, yeah, find your way. Move forward and find the way. Move forward and find the way. But I've lost my way. I lost my mind. I lost my wife. And I lost my life. I lost my hope. And I lost the memories. And I gained a lot of pain. I don't know how to find I was here. Now I'm gone. Forced to want tomorrow. While everything I loved I lost. Learn how to let it go. Learn how to let it go. Learn how to turn back. Find your way. Find your way. Don't give up. Find the way. Find the way.
Amen. That song, Raphael Trice wrote that song in a season where he went through a season where he was losing a lot, losing his life, and the wife that he lost. They were thinking it was like me. He had imagined that this girl he was going with was going to be his wife, and he ended up losing. So he lost his wife, lost his hope, lost his life, lost his everything else, and was going through consecration. Where I do know he's alive and well now, and moving forward in faith and hope and a future and expecting me. But I sent him a text when that popped on. I said, hey, give me an updated version of that song, add some drum beats or whatever, because he's a musician, he's an artist. And I was like, we can't let that one get lost in the archives. So one of the things that I'm going to be positioning in me in ministry is going to be about people finding their way through change. And that's the spirit of leadership that's within you. So often you're a leader, but then everything around you can contradict the spirit of leadership around you. Like, I'm supposed to be better. I'm supposed to be living better, doing better, acting better, talking better. I should be in a better financial position. I should be further along in life. But that does not matter, because you got to let that go in order to find your way. And one of the things that happens to us is we don't know how to let go. So we linger in loss rather than getting the lesson and moving forward. So how do we begin to take those life lessons and begin to bring value to our lives from what we've learned? You know, not telling people about how I've been through a lot, so I know I've been through. No, what have you come out of, and how are you transitioning into the better you? If you have lived this long, and if you have all these experiences, how do you begin to harness those experiences to ask God, what now, God? Where do I go, God? So that's the focus for 2019 for me. That's going to be the energy that I bring to the table in ministry. That's the transition that I've taken hold of for myself. As a leader, I know God is calling me to the greater, but if I don't shift and let some things go and then move in what he's given me. And what I tell people all the time is a lot of people have never met me because I have not given people the ability or given people the open door to really come in and meet me. So pieces of me have been out there, but then now I'm having to bring myself all the way together to say, hey, I came from Baltimore, but a lot of people didn't meet the person. A lot of people never met that person because I went into that school by myself. So the man who touched the Attorney General, the man who touched the hands of the Secretary of State of the whole United States of America, hello, who touched these high-level officials. So that means I was walking and that my work was at the level that they should look at. Now, I don't have to go in and linger back at what I accomplished, but there was a spirit in me that allowed me to create work that could be highlighted at that level. That spirit ain't dead. Hello? The spirit of the true and living God ain't dead. When you come in and you see the spirit of excellence in this room and you see what the tablecloths are out, the things are out, and we're presenting with you with the spirit of excellence. The spirit of excellence never died in me. That's not going to die. I'm going to have banners up. I'm going to have tables out. I'm going to have quality materials because quality is in me. Listen to me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So if the greater is in me, then quality is in me. Leadership is in me. But the goal is you have to know how to tap in me and not get the outer. See, a lot of people stop at the outer and never get to the inner. You never get to the gift. See, the word of the Lord says this, that a man's gift makes room for him and brings him into the presence of great men. Your gift brought you here. And your gift should make room where you can expand. And expand means to grow. You got to be around people in the new year that force you to grow. And not only do they force you to grow, but you got to have the capacity to contain a growth mindset. Because what we do is we focus on what we know. I know this, I know that, I know this, but why you where you at? What do you need to know to prepare you forward? That's what we got to get. And I'm really just giving us a growth mindset. The next 2 weeks is just going to get you to prepare your mindset for our first conference, our first seminar, our 6-week seminar where you commit to your growth in 2019. Because if 2020 is going to be a year of revolution for you, then 2019 must be a year of preparation. And you must prepare yourself for the mindset to be prepared. Hello? You got to prepare yourself. If you want greater, you got to know. And I thought about this. The reason why these up here, y'all can come up here and partake of your refreshments. Because one of the things we always do, y'all are going to bring chips, but I put the food out there where the chips are. So if you get the truth and bring a chip, you can take you back a little snack with you, a little dessert. And one of the things that always ends up happening is people, well, I knew that might be too many calories for me. You don't need to count the calories when you ain't God, because God don't count your calories. Let me tell you something. This is what you'll realize. You do not gain weight when you're in the presence of the Lord. You gain weight when you're by yourself. Hello? When you're exercising your faith and your spirit, you can eat right along with it. But it's what you do outside of the presence of God that takes you into a place. Depression, destruction, chaos, calamity, confusion. Yeah. So what I want to say is I'm going to talk about the spirit of excellence now, if I were to stay there. I went into this particular bakery in town that just opened, and this encounter, I'm going to use the word encounters. Apostle had taught a message on encounters, and I think for a kingdom-minded people, it's going to be important for me to also talk to you about your encounters. Hello? Your greatest encounters do not happen when you come to class or to the seminar. It happens out there in the kingdom. Yeah. And this previously this week, I came all the way down to Middle Street. I thought I was coming to get me something to eat. And I'm glad you confirming Chinese tonight, D, because that's what I'm going to eat. If we got out of class at 8, I'm going over to the Chinese restaurant and grab me some. Because I went to the bakery, and the bakery is next to the place that Tim and I go for Chinese. We were going to take the covenant keepers there one Saturday. Maybe it's the Lord's will, we'll get there. But it's next to the place for Chinese. Well, I was going to get Chinese the other night. Hallelujah. But I didn't get Chinese. I only went to the bakery. And I went into the bakery because I saw it on Facebook, and I said, I want to frequent this business. Sweet peas or whatever, sweet peas, whatever. I don't know what the name of it is. Something, but Tim sound right. But sweet peas cupcakes. Now, the cupcake place that we used to use, Hope's Creation, They're on sabbatical now, so they're not open. But I went to Sweet Peas because I saw them on Facebook. I said, oh, when they gonna open? I went up there, they hadn't opened. Needless to say, they opened. Well, I walked into the bakery, and when I walked in, I was on the phone with a credit client, and I was in this realm, and I was saying, we ain't doing this, we ain't doing this, we ain't doing this. So when I'm in the realm of leadership, y'all, it's hard for me to come down. And before I know it, I done told somebody else, and before I know it, I done told these people, look, why is this little brown sitting here with all these crumbs around it and it look like it's left over? Who's supposed to buy that? Now, I told them, I said, line this stuff with it. They said, oh, but we about to close. I said, I don't care if you about to close the way you start, this the way you finish. And I said, wait a minute, I'm not trying to offend y'all because I'm finna buy $25 worth of stuff. I ain't gonna buy one cupcake, I'm gonna buy a whole box because I want to try a lot of different samples because I like to sample the local businesses. I said, but your presentation is everything. I said, even if it ain't but one brownie left, stick the brownie on there right and make it look right and push them crumbs together and then get a person there. Well, they took it in what I was saying, whatever. But when I left out of that place after I had spent that money, I said, Lord, I didn't mean to go offend them people. Yeah. I said, I didn't mean to offend them people. But let me tell you something. If you're going to be in business and you don't want to be better, then you need to go out of business. Every day, my clients tell me how good I'm doing. Every day, the pulse of my clients tell me whether or not they trust me with their money. And your money is tied to your soul. So if you give me your money, you give me a piece of your soul. So I got to be trustworthy to handle your money and your soul. So every day you tell me what I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad. Whenever I take money from people credit, I watch their credit. I want them to get their car. I want them to get their house. I want them to get to their goals. That's why the goal or the tagline for Total Source in 2019 is going to be, your dream is our goal. So your dream ain't just to get your credit fixed. I might get your credit fixed, but I want to hear that you open your business. I want to hear that you get your car. I want to hear that your child get in school. Did you get the vacation you wanted? I just want to know that whatever you want come to pass. So you get, beyond you giving me my money, you get my prayer. So when you're giving your money to a prophet, you're giving your soul in. So I don't get to just take the money really quick and not care. I know my clients. I know their file. Who are you with? Who are your cousin? Who referred you? And then Apostle, I remember at the last meeting, she said, Tony, you're going to be able to remember all them clients. I said, well, I had 600 students and once I had 1,800 students. And I used to know the new people come in. I would walk down the hall, see a new face and say, hey, Joe. Well, I know you have 3 students registered this week. 2 of them were girls and 1 was a guy. So I know I ain't seen you. So you got to be Joe. How can you walk down this school and know the faces of the people? So if I'm taking your money, I'm doing surgery. If you go into your doctor, you do want a doctor to call your right name. Right. So I do have a doctorate in educational leadership. God said, don't you ever. That's what he told me this week. He said, don't you ever reduce rank. He said, because you went all the way down to South Carolina every week to get your doctorate. So you went all the way. I went to distance deep. Every week, you taught 5 days a week, went on Saturdays for your doctorate, and then rested a little bit on Sunday, but you still had to do your homework and grade your papers during the week. And you went to class. So I went the distance. So when I go down to Alabama every week, it's like going back to school because God said, you got your doctorate in the natural, but I'm going to give you your doctorate in the spirit. You're a practitioner. So I say, I can't apologize if I'm not going to apologize. Because when you do the work to get to your work, you owe nobody any explanations. Hello? You owe nobody no explanations. It is not about rank. It's not about, oh, I got my degree. My wife has a doctorate too, and she probably never tell you. And then whenever people say doctor her, she looked at me and forget she got one now. So we doctors with an S. But she'll never have to flaunt it. But she went to school all the time and she did that work. You follow me? And we never know where the work in it is going to come down the road. But we have to make no apologies. And that's what I want to teach people. You make no apologies for the spirit of leadership. But going on with the story, when I left the bakery, I said at the place, I said, I was in Antonio then. So I had come out of the spirit of leadership and into myself. And my humanity hit, and I said, Lord, I didn't mean to offend nobody. I don't want to offend nobody. But God dealt that away, and I ate the food, and it was good. And I left some, and I remember my wife said, I want the brownie. I said, I was going to eat the brownie because I was going to eat the brownie with ice cream. I told her she could have the brownie, but when I said I was going to eat, she didn't eat it. But anyway, the brownie's still in the refrigerator. But it's some more. It ain't. Then I went to sleep early that night. I took me 2 pain pills, and I was asleep by 8 o'clock. So I ain't even get to talk about what was in the box and how I got in the box. So he would tell the story halfway about the box, but I know he sent me the sweet peas. So I went back down today. They moved me back up. I saw where Tim had posted a little post on his Instagram. He was out in front of sweet peas. It reminded me because Hope was going to make some refreshments. Even though she's closed, she was going to make me some cupcakes. Well, I hadn't heard from Hope, but I knew I was supposed to bring some refreshments to my meeting, to my seminar, to my group, to my class, to those who were willing to listen to me. I was supposed to bring an offering. So I walked in there and I said, y'all, I'm going to spend $40 today. Before I knew it, I told them I was going to spend $60. They said, well, how many people coming to your meeting? I said, probably 3. Well, I know the nights when I'm going to have 10, but I can feel when I'm going to have 3. But it's good because it's okay. Whether it's 10 here or whether it's 2 here, I'm going to serve with the spirit of excellence. I'm always going to be prepared. My grandmama and my granddad, they were always prepared to feed the whole neighborhood regardless of who came up. So I understand that if no people don't come, you can take them home for somebody else. And you can share, you can partake with someone else. But anyway, I went into Sweet Peas, and the first thing they brought up, they said, your mama was in here today. I knew Tim was here. And I told them, I said, Tim was in here too. Oh, yeah, we down with Tim. Your company keeps going to be all around the place. So I told them, they said, your mama was here. And they said, I don't know how your mama can have somebody. Your mama's so nice. How could she have somebody like you? I said, well, let me tell you one thing. You don't know my mama. I said, because my mama ain't nice as you think. In order for her to raise 2 boys like us, that means she had to be strong woman. I said, so in order for us to be like this, I walk with the spirit of my mama, maybe it's just demonstrated in another way. I said, but I'm glad you like your mama. We laughed about that and went on. They said, no, you didn't offend us. I said, yes, I did. I said, yes, I did. I said, but sandpaper is designed to make the rough edges smooth. I said, so if I came in sandpaper and I rubbed you the wrong way, you might have think I rubbed you the wrong way, but 2 years from now, when you put this thing up, you're going to think about Antonio, and he told me to line this stuff up with the spirit of excellence, and I will make no apologies for excellence. I will make no apologies, and that's one thing that a leader has to do. A leader has to understand excellence in them and make no apology when you demand excellence around you. Part of the problem is we've learned how to accept mediocrity, and we make excuses for people being mediocre. Today I had a situation where we couldn't get into a client's credit file, and I knew when I sent over the audit, Elizabeth tried to go into the file and we couldn't get in, and she was on the phone with the client, and the client was saying everything, and in the end we found out that the client was wrong, that it was one number right, but it didn't matter to me about the client being wrong. It didn't matter if it was Elizabeth right. Elizabeth tried to go to explain to me, I said, I don't want to hear it. It didn't matter, because my goal is that as long as I get the report, that's all that matters. I can't fix your credit without the report. Once I get the report, the rhetoric don't matter. Rhetoric don't matter. And one of the things I begin to understand is this: everybody is looking to be right, but it's righteousness that God is looking for. Hello? And righteousness is, if this is a client, they paid us the money, I don't care who right or who wrong, man, we got your report, we'll serve you. And I was able to tell her, I said, well, the problem was that one. She said, oh, I told her, it don't matter what she was lying. I told her later it was the one on the end. Liz said, no, she didn't tell me this. I don't care. That's the problem. We couldn't get in, ma'am. It was a one. We got the password right. We're in it. Why? I can serve you with excellence. All at the end of the only thing that matters. And hopefully we can serve her file with excellence, not even though she might have said it. Because sometimes what black folks do is put the wrong energy on the file because she was a liar. I don't care if she was a liar. She was a liar when she came here. You got all that stuff on your credit that you know you did. And you want to pay me to get it off. You know you did most of that stuff. So you want me to use stretch all those lies. Hello? Hello? See, sometimes we're fighting about something we don't need to fight about. Because why am I trying to rank my character over you when I know I told 2 lies yesterday? Hello? So we're in the wrong place. Are we accomplishing that which we set out to do? Well, anyway, I got to the place and got the stuff from the bakery, need to say, and that's how we ended up with stuff here. So there's some parfaits, there's some, they said one of them was I don't know, chocolate cupcake, whatever. Come in here if you want to, and you can get whatever you want. Napkins up here, spoon up here. So if you want to try something, you can try it in class, and you don't have to stop and wait to the end to get it on and try it. But we already at the end of class if you will. But one of the things that I learned today, this was in my encounter today. God will allow you to say that he'll still let you come back around. And I told him, I said, the difference between other people who criticize and the people who complain and me is, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So I want no customer that's going to come in one time and give a suggestion. I'm coming back. So that's what makes me a valued customer. And as a valued customer, you should want my valued opinion. You don't need people around you who just pump you up and telling you you're great. See, every day, most people don't realize in my work, they'll say, oh, you're a leader. People just don't tell you no. I get corrected every day. As a leader, you got to be able to discern even somebody's movement. I can discern how people even will talk over me or talk to the side, what they think about whatever. Because a leader has to walk with discernment. And discernment is a gift that God will give leaders. D came in and she beckoned me in, and D ended up coming in and sitting down in class. I'm using that as an example. But D said, yeah, he ranked me, he do this, he do that. I remember having this conversation with a believer earlier this year. She said, why you rank me? She said, you always ranking me. It wasn't that I was always ranking her. I just was not going to reduce rank to be with her. If you're a leader and you know you got a gift that somebody needs from you, why you going to come down to that level? Then both of you at the wrong level. But if you get ranked, that means I'm forcing you to come up, not to come down. Everything you want in God is up higher than where you are. But we want God to just throw it down to us and spoon feed us. No, you got to come up a little bit higher, baby. Come up a little bit higher. One of the greatest leaders that taught me up there, when I moved to Baltimore, my boss, Roger Shaw, he was like the antithesis of anything. And I used to get so mad and talk about Roger Shaw because he never, ever gave me a compliment. He never did this. But at the end of the day, Roger Shaw trained me to understand what was in me. That every time he came in, he nagged, he nitpicked, he looked to the left, and I was going to kick his butt one day. But what I like about it is I didn't become great because I had a leader who pacified me. I became great because I had a leader who nitpicked everything. And the only thing he did was force me to be better. If it wasn't for Roger Shaw nitpicking, the Attorney General never would have came there because my first 2 years was hell. But when God knew I needed rest, he put a new supervisor over me the third year. Hallelujah. And that's the year when everybody came in, but my supervisor could honor my work. But guess what? I was already walking in the spirit of excellence. Sometimes it takes the devil to bring the best out of you. Hallelujah. Because see, God will put people on your path who tell you you're great. You're great. You this. Ain't nothing wrong with you. No, there's some stuff wrong with you. See, people will tell you you're good just to keep you with them because they want a crowd. But leaders have to learn how to separate from the crowd and be built up. That's what you have to learn how to do. But we want to be pacified. Well, sometimes everybody need a compliment. Well, sometimes your compliment ain't supposed to come from that person. Because sometimes you want a compliment when you need correction. It's all right to be corrected. I get corrected every day. My customers correct me. You didn't call me. Well, now I didn't call you. I'm glad you called me. Hello? I know what service is coming for. So I'm not building for 2019 for service in the past. I'm building that I'm going to beat my clients to the punch. Hallelujah. And I got a couple that he's given me already. I got a couple of clients that I'm practicing on that I check on them before they can check on me. I know ain't nothing happen in 30 days. They're going to be 30 days before they hear anything. What you doing? You writing your vision now? Did you go look at the truck? Are you writing down the house? See, let me tell you what black people do. Black people go to all these vision parties and teach them vision. Ain't none of your vision gonna come to pass because you ain't gonna have no money to do it, so you're gonna need credit. So why you having a vision party without having a credit party first? Because you want a house, you want a car, you want a business, but your credit ready. So while we put all that out there and write the vision, we got to write the strategies and the steps to get there. So if you know you got 5 things that need to be adjusted in your credit, the only way your vision gonna come to pass is for you to take care of first things first. Hallelujah. So going into 2019, I'm gonna be talking about character. I'm gonna be talking about credibility, which our credit is there, and charisma. It's gonna take you, because even if you're gonna build a business, nobody don't want to come to your business just like the same cupcake factory down the street. Yeah. What makes you different if God has anointed you to put yours on that corner? I don't care if there's one on this corner. God may give you the same idea, but you're different because of your charisma. And God knows that if it's 30,000 people in Millersville, if it's 60,000 people in Millersville, that you need more than one cupcake factory. Because you ain't gonna have 10 clients a day, or 30, or 50, or 60. But there's so many people in Millersville that you ain't got to say they stole my idea. I ain't doing an original doing a seminar. There's many leadership seminars you can come to. I might have 13 steps and 13 classes in the way I frame it, but it's a lot of people that walk with the spirit of leadership. This is the way he just gave it to me. And God gave it to me for the people he wants to meet. So I'm gonna have 30 people in the room. They're my 30. It's all these people out there. Why we fighting over? I ain't got to fight over nobody. I'll teach 2 and be fine, because you can have 2 great people and you can have everything you need, but you can have 30 people in the room and still don't have $20 and have nothing. And guess what? You have not moved based on where God wants you to be. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about going into 2019. And as we talk, and I'm glad the banners are up there, as we talk on our banners, and I'm going to be all over the place taking you into 2019, because I need you to begin to picture and envision what our classes and what the concepts are going to look like for 2019. And then I need to be able to let you know, most people understand, and I shared this with you earlier, I said, the church has done connection. Oh man, this is a God connection. This is a connection. But God never on a connection. God is a covenant keeper. When people keep your covenant and commanding God, God blesses it. But God never said he had to bless a connection. Hello? In your covenant with God, God will allow you to have encounters in him. And whatever it is that God has called you to accomplish is on your path. Yes. And God will connect you to people on your path who will have what you need. But your first covenant is with him. And most people have power to pump and grind and do one-night stands, but they don't have staying power to stay. Hello? To stay, to stick and stay. And that's one of the things that I was looking at. Apostle had taught in a couple of our meetings back when we were at Chevy or whatever. What did you come to see? And God began to show me a lot of people to come in and see. And then they'll go back out and report what they saw. Because he's not looking for people who come and see. He's looking for people who come and stay. Because you will come in one night and what you could supposed to have is in here. But God is looking for your staying power because it might not be released to the 20th session. And then people come to the meeting and say, oh, I thought it was a credit seminar. No, man, please, I can fix credit tomorrow. I do that when I come to the meeting. You got to fix your soul. See, a lot of people want their stuff. Hello? Yeah. You done had stuff and lost stuff. Mm-hmm. How you going to get stuff and keep stuff? If your soul, the scripture says, I wish above all things that you would prosper as your soul prospers. So Psalm 23 talks about he restored my soul. If your soul ain't restored, hallelujah, then what you want, you can't even handle it because your soul's still ragged. Oh, Rabashanda. Hey, listen to what I'm saying. If your soul's still raggedy, if you get $10,000 a day, you're going to lose it tomorrow and give it to the wrong people because your soul don't have the capacity to contain it and to do what he called you to do. You don't have an apostolic anointing because an apostolic anointing will show you how to distribute it. All right. So it means that in order for your year to be epic, you got to move into a place of preparation. You got to move into a season where you say, I'm yielding to the preparation because I don't want my life to end like this. I'm not talking about a year. Yeah. This year is over. I don't want my life to end like this. Yeah. This is not the end. Amen. I do not want to survive and live every other day just surviving and existing. Now, if I went on a trip, I ain't got to go to the same place, but I'm going on another trip. I'm going to work while it's day. I'm going to work and I'm going to eat and I'm going to sacrifice and I'm going to serve and I'm going to save. If I'm supposed to have, I don't care how many bankruptcies. I don't care if I lost the house. I don't care if I'm 69 years old. I'm getting another house. Right now. Yeah. So in order to be a leader, you got to take the limits off of your faith. Yes. Because you only have enough faith for what you can believe in because you don't even want to be disappointed. So you even believe too low. It's a time where you got to say, I am entering into a season. One of the things that said, God said he gave the apostle, and I'm going to go church and leadership. Because he said, I gave the apostle, I gave the prophet, I gave the pastor, I gave the teacher. He said, for the equipping. But God said, you got to be prepared to be equipped. It's not enough to sit and just be comfortable and be okay. I love my people. Oh, hell no. I'm not going to be satisfied just being with a group that ain't doing that. I want to be effective in what I'm called to do. And I can just meet up with y'all here, but I'm going out to be effective by myself. I don't even want to come around to see how I can pick up furniture. I want this, man. I'm trying to recruit. I'm not trying to recruit nobody. I don't want to recruit nobody. Amen. Then I got to bring you something to eat every week. Well, you're going to be mad when I don't bring that. I'm going to tell them we're on a fast. Oh, yeah. You're going to come for the food, which is in the spirit, which provides growth and life. The reason why I lost it because I wasn't equipped for it. But the reason why I lost it because it was his will. Yeah. Because he understands that everything I had me. If what you own owns you, then you a slave. Yes. Oh, yes. You can be a slave to your car. You can be a slave to your house. You can be a slave to your job. You can be a slave to relationships. So why God gonna bless you when he said, Jesus said, I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. You shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. But you keep coming to you, but you still a slave. Why? Because you ain't moving on your truth. Amen. You know the truth. You know you're in a dead block, but you keep staying there. And you mad because nobody won't come and invest in your cemetery. They want to invest in you, but you in the grave. Nobody don't ever help me because you dead. Amen. You dead. It's not about talking about loss. It's about taking your lesson and being able to move forward and be ignited into a place of change. That's 2019, all things said. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. But Deuteronomy 28, 14 and 1, and I talked about this last week. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1, it talks about being in such a place where you can hear the voice of God, you can obey and do what you have been commanded to do. This is Moses talking to the people. This is the spirit of leadership embodying in itself, where it's saying we're at a crossroad. Now, if y'all can obey the voice and do what you commanded to do, what I've noticed around is when I don't say much in certain places, because if I tell somebody to do something in this new season, do it or get the hell away from me. Hello? If I'm the trainer, I'm going to be the trainer. Now, if you got somebody that can train you better, then you let them train you, but likely they ain't going to be in my company. This is what I'm saying. I want to elevate company. They're not going to be in my business company, and they're not going to be in my company around me. Because the spirit of rebellion causes rebellion. I was talking to a little old officer, and I give a little nugget, and I said, this right here, this right here. I have trained secretaries, custodians, I've trained security, teachers who became assistant principals. I know how to train. If I hired you, I don't give a damn what you done did. We got to start with what we're going to do. I don't care what your resume is, because whenever you start on a job, your resume don't matter. I can tell you all the things I've accomplished on my job, but what they got to do is start over. I came in sweeping up in the office. I done mop floors. I take out the trash. Hello? I do all that stuff. It don't matter about me being Dr. Hurt, because Dr. Hurt can do all those things. Why? Because the minute I'm there by myself, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Yes. I ain't never asked nobody to do something I wasn't big enough to do. That's a sign of a leader. I never asked somebody to do something I couldn't do. I'll take out the trash, I'll clean the toilet. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll serve, because in order to lead, you must first be able to serve. The greatest leaders are the greatest servers. If you find people who don't want to do nothing, get away from them. Amen. If you find people who get too good to do the little stuff, get away from them. Because them the people who tell people up, they got a lot of pride, they up in it. Hello? Yes. If I'm bringing on an employee, don't you know, we use Credit Cloud. Well, I was at home on a Saturday looking up Credit Cloud and learning how to do everything, because guess what? I'm a baby doing my own system. Yeah. I got a new credit card management system. Don't you know I know how to do it before I give it to somebody else? Hello? Oh, you just need to learn how to do that and then let me know and you get it done. You won't have that much power and control over me. Hello? I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. And I'm not talking about from the posture of pride, but I'm talking about from a posture of education. Yeah. If you're going to do something, you need to know the ins and outs of what you call it. You need to be a researcher. I was at home the other night till 3 o'clock in the morning. I was researching funding and went out to the boards. And I'd already done this before, but I needed a refresher course. I was up at 3 o'clock that morning. It took my whole calendar off. I'm talking about my time system. I got up the next morning on point and was at work after being up at 3. Then the next morning I crashed and had to go slow. It wasn't no problem, so I sat and I cheated. But what I'm saying is I was in a place where I'm not going to teach something. And this is one of the things that we do in business and in leadership. You give people power over you because you stop learning. You don't ever stop knowing what your opponents are doing. You don't ever stop knowing. And I'm not talking about being nosy. And that's it. Just know what you need to know. Know what you need to know. Don't get so dumb that you don't want to know what you need to know. But the stuff you don't need to know, you know that. You can't walk in leadership like that. And people will give you the wrong information. People who carry gossip, you'll be full of gossip and none of that gossip will prosper you. They're telling you about everybody, what they said, you heard about them, you heard about what happened. They can tell you everything about them, but they can tell you nothing about the now and new. I thank God that I made it through a year and had a good friend called Tim, who made sure that the building was set up all year long. And then I could come in and say, Tim, when you take this stuff down this Thursday, it is finished. We are in position. We'll be ready to come back in the new year. We still gonna do our Saturdays now. We got 2 Saturdays. But I'm saying on Thursday, we're gonna be working. Why? Because I asked God today, and I said, I felt it yesterday, y'all. And I'm talking about the spirit of leadership. Leaders have to be bold, leaders have to be courageous. And you have to be willing to cut something right now, God said. Yesterday, I felt like, well, God, if we're not supposed to have class on Thursday, I knew I wasn't gonna have many. I knew stuff was gonna be going on. I felt it. Then I know in Thanksgiving and Christmas, ain't nobody stand by no Jesus. And you ain't stand by growth and development. You finna go eat. You finna be made. That's what happens from Thanksgiving on. You're going to shop and do stuff. Now, some of you said, I'm not going to do it. Well, I'm not going to be waiting on nobody to come who ain't on the way. Then I'm not going to let you go out and do all your shopping and bring me $2 in here, and then you think that's enough to keep the meat going. No, I'm going to cut my losses. Now, I'm talking that metaphorically, but I'm just telling you where I'm going in the new year. Because God called me the Universal Faith School of Spirit, so I can get me some rest during those intercessions where we don't have class. And tell you when to meet me and where to meet me. I still can do some Facebook Lives. I still can put stuff up on YouTube on Sundays. We're on YouTube. All the other opportunities for you to grow. But this one, we're going to take a break and let the building breathe. And it was okay, but he just told me this morning. He just told me that this morning. I felt it yesterday. I didn't know I was supposed to cancel today, whatever. But this morning, I said, oh, well, how many meetings I'm not going to meet no more in November, December? It happened just that quick by revelation. I was bold enough to say, oh, it's done. Well, we're going to come this Thursday, next Thursday, y'all. November, we're going to be out. And I already put the whole schedule up here for the rest of the year. Because guess what? Sometimes you don't grow when people are around. Have you ever seen a plant bloom? Yeah. You were waiting on it to bloom, and all of a sudden it bloomed, and you came back like, oh, man, yeah. I was waiting on that plant to bloom. Your greatest growth going to occur when you ain't in class. Hello? I want to see you bloom. Yeah. I want to see you blossom. But since I ain't seen no blooms and blossoms, come back in January and let me see the bloom there. You get the revelation. But look, y'all, so we got next Thursday, we're going to be here, 7 o'clock. That's our last meeting of the year on Thursday nights. Then we're going to be here on Saturday, November 3rd. That's the first Saturday. No, first Saturday in November, first Saturday in December, we're here. November 3rd, we're going to be here in Milledgeville. Then on Sunday, I moved it. We were going to go the last Sunday of this month, but I moved it to give people a 30-day period from this day, a 30-day period to come up with your $60 because we're going to be going on Sunday. We're going to leave about 7 o'clock from, I think, the Milledgeville location or whatever, but I just put 6:30 to 7 a.m. because even if we leave here at 7:30, you're going to need to be up and ready to go at 6:30 in the morning. It's going to be called a day's journey. We're going to be going to Prattville and Montgomery. We're going to be going to the Lynching Museum, the Museum for Justice. And this is going to come out to your email, and I'll be posting on Facebook. You get the information. But if you're telling a friend or telling somebody, we're going to be going to Montgomery, Prattville, Alabama. We'll leave here about 7:30, 6:30ish, and then we're going to go to Prattville first, where we'll have one training session in Prattville at our international location, our home base in Prattville. We'll be there from about 10, maybe to 12ish. Then we'll go to the Lynching Museum, but it's actually called, y'all, the National Memorial for Peace and Justice. It's not called the Lynching Museum, but the National Memorial for Justice and Peace, and it's an outside place that we'll go about 12 o'clock, 11:30ish, and we'll go there for to see the lynching outside exhibit, and then we'll go over to the museum, and then you'll have lunch downtown. But the cost of the bus and the tickets to the museum is $60, and then it's about 5 locations we're going to put out there that you'll be able to do lunch on your own. So it's going to be really a good free day for you, because what will happen is we'll be together as a group when we go to our training session. Then when we go to the lynching, the outside exhibit, that day we'll be there about an hour. But then when you go over to the museum, you will be able to go in the museum at your own leisure and work around downtown, and the bus might leave. We might say, hey, be ready to go at the bus at 5 o'clock. So you can get your lunch, go to the museum, do all that during that time, and then we'll get the bus to come back on our pickup route to get back to this place. So that's going to be on Sunday, November the 18th. Because that's the day that we're looking for having our hotel available that day. But we'll work through that for Sunday, November 18th. And that gives us 30 days to plan. So you can have, if you got somebody who want to come with you, another friend, it's $6. That'll cover the bus fare plus the tickets to the museum. And the only thing you'll have to offer then would be your own lunch for that day. We went to a Mexican restaurant out there. There's an Italian restaurant. There's a substation for all the downtown restaurants that are open on Sunday. You and your group go wherever y'all want. You'll be free once we get to that museum place. So I think it'll prove to be an awesome day on that Sunday. And typically, we put 9 p.m. that whenever we come back and we leave about 5 o'clock, we end up getting back home around 9 o'clock. So just planning for that to be a whole day. If you need to take the Monday off, that's fine. If you need to go to work Monday, then just call in on Tuesday and do that too. So it doesn't matter. But that's Thanksgiving weekend. If you need to go and take the Monday off now, go ahead and let the people know that you got a day's journey. But it's going to be an awesome freedom experience there. And then that Saturday, we'll be back December the 1st here for that first Saturday meeting that we have our meeting. So those are the 3 meetings that we're going to have going in November and into December. These are the 3 encounters you'll have here Well, 2 here, but 3 next Thursday and Saturday, next Saturday, that particular Sunday, we're going to be out of town next week. Then you're going to get information on this, but I just want to put it on the board because leaders forecast, the leaders tell you where we're going. That there's going to be a Freedom Weekend where we'll be back in Alabama for the whole weekend. Or some people might come in Saturday, stay Saturday, Sunday, but we're going to look at a Freedom Weekend, and that's March the 1st through the 3rd. So it's coming off of Black History Month and into Women's History Month. But March the 3rd through the 5th will be out there Prattville. But our Black history or our experiences may be from Selma, Montgomery, Prattville. So we'll be in that area. Y'all know the Martin Luther King house is there. Selma. So I don't know what historic places we'll go to, but by then we'll have a whole calendar. But that'll be a Freedom Weekend that we're planning. We'll be staying at the Marriott, so I'll give you hotel information. You may have a friend or two y'all want to plan and say, hey, I'm going down that weekend with the group. And then our revival or resurrection weekend is going to be Easter. That's going to be in Myrtle Beach. So we'll be going to Myrtle Beach for that particular weekend. And we know at sunrise, typically that's season of baptism, renewal, resurrection. And then we know down on the beach, you'll have a day to go do whatever you want on the beach. So it'll be a good weekend. If you want to take your family, it's a good, different Easter type weekend flow. So Easter weekend and the dates are April 19th through the 21st. So I gave you all of that, and that stuff will come out in our constant contact emails. Hopefully you're on our email system from our website where you get the emails out that I send out. If not, go to the ministry website, get the email. I'm going to make sure I get this posted through our emails, and I'll make sure that I post this out on Facebook for everybody fellowship with us. And going into 2019, one of my goals is going to be in leadership is that I'm expanding. So often you can be compartmentalized, where you are only who you are in this small space. And sometimes we have to be in a small space in order for us to survive. But as a leader, and for me coming into ministry, I have to be able to expand and broaden my horizons. So I want to share with y'all another experience that I had over in our office. We had been talking about it's time to go. Derek had been talking about he needed to go to Atlanta to get an office. And the only thing I said was, I ain't staying there making, I ain't staying in no office and making money and making my time up here too. So when you leave, I'm leaving. So at the end of the day, I knew that I would have to look in the underground and look for a place either in Gray, Georgia or Milledgeville. But I did find a space that we're going to be in downtown Milledgeville. I'm working to sign a lease on that space for our credit restoration office. And my goal for 2019 is to continue to have our seminars out here during the week, but then I have a place during the week here locally. And that's something when you say you would never come back home. God will make you do the nevers. Whatever you say you were never going to do again, in order to get to what God wants you to do, he'll make you go through your nevers. He'll make you go through your, I ain't never going to do it. And I was standing in front of an office, y'all, that an office building that I stood in front of about 2 years ago. And I was standing in front of that office with a man and woman of God, and I was standing there looking, I just looked at it, and I walked on. And it was so beautiful, and the arches were so beautiful, and the entryway and the windows, and I just stood there just like this. And God will bring you 2 years later where you're standing in front of a place. And I never thought I could get, because I said, well, it's saying building for sale. Well, I can't buy that. I ain't gonna buy that. And I still saw building for sale, but when I found the call, I didn't even see building for sale. I just saw the number and called it, and I didn't even see building for sale until I wrote that down the other day. I said, they didn't say building for rent or building for lease. It said building for sale, but guess what? All you have to do sometimes is make the call. One call, that's all. And I made the call, and I didn't even really negotiate or do any work. The man said, well, the owner don't want to negotiate. This is the cost of the rent. I said, well, I tell people when it's time for them to buy credit, this is my cost, so guess what I'm going to do? I'll take it. Because sometimes you got to pay the price to be what God wants you to be. He's already preordained it for you. So January, when we come into our January season, January New Year, we'll be in our new office down here in Milledgeville, Georgia, where we can really plan to take food. And I'm honored that God will bring me all the way back home. I don't live here, but I'm glad that I can say I work here. Where do you work? In Milledgeville, Georgia. So I'm excited to be able to come back to a place that God will choose a ragged old man like me to come in. And in the front of the building, consecration materials and books and all that stuff will be right there in the front, because what brought me back home? Consecration. So what brought me here, what kept me here, what kept me through here will be available for believers in Milledgeville, but we also will be doing our consulting when it comes to credit repair and the credit work. And it's down at 125 Wayne Street. I know my new address. Some of y'all need to ride past your new home or ride past the place and just start calling it out. So I'm grateful to God for what he's doing. And I want to share that with y'all simply because we serve a God of growth. And if you're not willing to grow and contain, we also serve a God of vision. We also serve a God of prophecy. It wouldn't be enough for me to just come in all of a sudden move and say, well, I didn't know you were moving. Well, prophets prophesy. I kept it, I hid it in my heart as long as he told me to hide it in my heart. And I told 2 or 3 people who I was supposed to tell, but now it's time for it to be revealed. Why? Coming soon. See, you got to be able to forecast where God is taking you. You got to be so strong in your vision that when you already know it's solidified or it's becoming into a place where it's solidified, that you begin to speak those things that be not as though they were. Because you know God is calling you forth and calling you into a new place. And one of the things I like about, and I know we're coming up on 7:55 and I'm going to close right here. One of the things I like about God and what God had given me the power and the potential to do. When I was, and I always use Frederick Douglass, and that's the Believe book, y'all. You have the Believe book. The background and the essence of that Believe book was from that Frederick Douglass experience. The song that I just put out, Find the Way, that song came out, listen to me, when I was leaving Frederick Douglass. That's when he sent me the song from Georgia. He said that song all the way to Baltimore, and it rung to the depths of my soul, and I was leaving and losing everything. You know, that was a season in my Baltimore season where I really was having to just let it all go. And it's all right now, you got to go in, you got to serve this time, you got to do this. But one of the things that I noticed when I had been at Frederick Douglass for about probably 3 or 4 months, God had told me, and this was from that 4-month period all the way to closing out that year, the second year of the school, God told me, he said, I don't want you to be the principal. I want you to be the prophet. God told me, he said, I don't want you to be the principal. I want you to be the prophet. Because I already had a leader, Trish Hunter. I haven't talked to her one day since I've been here, but I got to go back to Baltimore to get Trish. Hallelujah. Hadn't talked to her on the phone, only through email and one text occasion. But one of the things that God shared with me, he said the spirit of the principal was upon Trish. So I treated Trish like she was the principal. And I prophesied, now I still did the work of the principal, but Trish was trained and Trish became a principal. And at this point, Trish is one of the good officials, top officials over at the Department of Education and School Improvement. Hallelujah. So one of the things I know is that the spirit of leadership is upon me, and I'm around leaders with my ratchet and regular self. So some people think you over here and you downtrodden, but when the spirit of leadership is upon you, you are called to equip and to build people. That's what I do. Okay? So what God began to share with me, he said, when you were in the school, I would prophesy the people are coming. And when even, I don't want to leave President Obama off, but my school was so safe that out of 2 schools they could have chosen, they chose for Air Force One to leave my school. So even President Obama touched the grounds that had been consecrated unto the Lord. Where I walked that school early in the morning, where I walked that school late in the evening, where I worked that school 7 days a week, that place had been so consecrated that when they could have chosen 2 schools, they chose Frederick Douglass because they knew I would execute with excellence and all the students would be off the campus, that it would be a safe place because they knew that the spirit of leadership was upon me. So even Obama, and I'm saying even, but I should be saying President Obama touched feet. And I saw most of his back, but I saw him go and get on Air Force One, and I saw it fly out. And I was sitting up high on the 3rd floor, looking down on the window with Brother Dwayne and some other people. We peeping out the window, and I'm saying, God, nobody but you. So when it comes to your potential, and one of the things that I'm going to be teaching and equipping and talking about in 2019 is, I don't care where you are or what you've been through, that does not overshadow the power and the spirit of leadership that is in you. You are not your failures. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your situation. You are not your circumstance. But what God says is a man's gift will make room for him and bring him in the presence of great men. But the one thing that causes you to get put out, your character, your attitude, your pride, your deaf and dumb spirit, your manipulation, your deceit, your nastiness. See, so 2019, we got to talk about character. Because you got to have a character to know. I tell people, I say, y'all think I'm a dumb coon. See, I don't mind getting put out of church, but I know how to walk in the bank and I know how to act. See, I don't have to be worried about how to act around the coon. Because perhaps you bring out the best in me. But when it's time for me to go in and be able to talk to people, he country, he ghetto, he this, but I know how to talk to the attorney general. Hello, sir. How you? I know how to put on a suit and how to dress with people who matter. Perhaps I don't dress up because you don't matter that much today. What coach you see gonna go to practice with a suit on in games? What soldier you see gonna go to battle in war with a suit on? You got to dress for the occasion. And if you coming to be quick and you coming to practice, perhaps it don't matter what you look like on Thursday night or Saturday. Hello? Because we got to stop worrying about the hour when our inner is jacked up. Because your inner is what's going to put you out. It's a lot of people who look right but don't know how to act and be. All right. Your character is what's going to take you into the place that God will have you be. So we're going to be talking about character. We're going to be talking about credibility. If I tell you I'm going to do something, hopefully I'll get it done. And if I don't, call me on it so I can get it done. Because maybe I just forgot. You ain't got to sit back and say, he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Just remind me. I'm willing. And I understand that I'll be some stuff. So credibility and charisma. When God saved you, he didn't take your character. So can't nobody, it ain't but one of you in the universe. You just got to learn how to be the best you that you can be. And that's my goal for 2019. Not for you to bring the best out of you, but for you to bring the best out of yourself. You got to free yourself to be yourself. Hallelujah. Did anybody get anything? We're going to end class right there. Those of you out there who are listening live, blessings upon you. And we're going to stop right there because that's our 8 o'clock hour, 8:03. And we're always going to come in, y'all. They're going to take it 1 hour. You can call it an hour of power. So going into 2019, our seminar, we're going to go 1 hour. We're going to go and get it done, and we're going to be at home. I'm grateful for my long-winded season, but I'm grateful that I got some more stuff to do. I want to go home and watch How to Get Away from Murder. And I need to go to this Chinese place and get my food before they close. Hallelujah. Isn't that something? So you better be the people who got something to do. Don't be around people all the time who talking about what you doing, nothing. You ain't got the right energy. You need to be doing something. Reading, studying, walking, sweeping off the porch, picking some collard greens, doing something. Find something to do. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And even when you resting, you still doing something. What am I doing? I'm resting. I'm resting. That's all right, because resting, do you know some people have to work to rest? Yeah. It takes a lot for you to shut your mind down. What am I doing? Watching TV. And I'm fine with that. Yeah. Did anybody get anything in a statement they want to get for the end of the comment revelation that you want to release before we leave tonight?
I got the truth tonight.
The truth? Amen.